I'm honored by your presence.
Cuistot, tous mes bons plats se mangent bien chaud. Tu es de trop, crois-moi, tu es pas si costaud. La tension monte, direction d'innombrables trésors. Route vers l'or.
Jiaoqiu, one of the retainers of the Merlin's Claw, Feixiao, a healer whose medicine comes in the form of finely cooked meals. But he's a character who has his eyes shut most of the time, so you know there's a lot of ingredients to this little fox guy that are simmering under the surface. Or maybe we should believe Bailu in that he's constantly squinting in pain from all the spicy food he eats. Well, okay, in actuality, him having his eyes closed was a bit of foreshadowing for him going blind by the end of the War Dance storyline, which, I'll admit, I didn't see coming. That is a good twist, and we will touch on this later on in the video. Before becoming Feixiao's retainer and personal medic, he was born into a prestigious alchemy commission family and went to the Ranji school, which specializes in food therapy, according to Jiaoqiu during March to Mastery. In his following conversations with Yun Li, he is adamant that he is a healer and not the general's cook. The way Mark Whitten delivers the lines has some I'm not Zera energy, and as a Gintama fan, that just makes me so happy.
Need I repeat myself again? I'm a healer.
He clearly has talent in this field, being the inventor of 9 Square Grid, a cauldron-based medicinal formula that's easy to make and provides wondrous effects. His mentor even compliments him for coming up with it in a day, according to his first character story. His voice lines about the arts of healing and cooking are also very telling of his philosophy on culinary medicine. Cooking is medicine, and to make medicine is to cook. Insert Breaking Bad cooking reference here. The Jiao in Jiaoqiu can be read to mean pepper or spices, while the second part of his name, Qiu, means hill. His name obviously ties into his culinary preferences, wanting everything to be spicy. Interestingly enough, his taste buds weren't always this obsessed with spiciness. In his first character story, he eats a meal that he considered so sweet and refreshing, it delights the palate. However, in his fourth character story, he has that meal again, but has this to say, "Ugh, too bland." His change in taste buds is actually explained in his third character story. After Lon wiped out the denizens of abundance during the Third Abundance War, Jiaoqiu used any leftover ingredients he had to feed himself and his fellow survivors. However, he felt cold from the inside out, and the food wasn't helping. He kept adding spice after spice until he could finally pick up on the extremely hot taste. He felt alive for the first time. It was a sensation that bordered on pain. It's possible his alteration in palate is an indication that he developed post-traumatic stress disorder. It has been documented that PTSD can cause changes in a person's sense of taste or an outright loss of it. This specific occurrence is known as post-traumatic gustatory dysfunction. But that's not all we can decipher from his name. The word Jiaoqiu appears in the Chinese poem Li Sao by Chu Yuan. The poem's name means encountering sorrow. It is a piece of, hold on, let me check here, political erotic writing describing the poet's disappointment in his lord through a romantic allegory. Politics and eroticism were two things I never thought would go together, but hey, what do I know? The part that features the characters that are used for Jiaoqiu's name is the following excerpt. I will walk my horse on the orchard meadow and gallop on the pepper hill to rest. I will not go forward to avoid blame, but will not go back to wear my original clothes. When connecting this to Jiaoqiu, this line can be seen in how his character story loops back around. After the war, he went back to Rainsour Lake and continued his culinary habits, but without being a healer. He saw it as a futile effort after all the bloodshed and death he witnessed. In the never-ending war between the forces of the Hunt and the Abundance, Jiaoqiu would continuously see less and less soldiers return from the battlefield and gather around his cauldron of culinary medicine. You know, during March to Mastery, he says Yang Xing and Yun Li remind him of old friends and old tales. The really sad and probably the most likely interpretation of this line is that those old friends are 6 feet under and just, ouch, my heart. In his second character story, he admitted his doubts to the general of the Yao Qing at the time, Yu. Recently, I've been thinking, if the patients that I nurse back to health are destined to hurtle toward death once more, what is my purpose as a healer? Even in the present-day storyline, we see that those doubts are still present.
He's getting away. Do something, Jiaoqiu. It's just like the old days, you useless loser. Just do something!
Regardless of those insecurities, there is one patient he has dedicated himself fully to, and is unwilling to give up on. The very general he works for, Feixiao. In his 4th character story, Jiaoqiu's former master selected the pink-haired Foxian to be Feixiao's personal healer. Jiaoqiu was initially resistant to the role, but his teacher insisted. "You misunderstand me. This time I'm not here to persuade you to heal the masses in this world. I'm here because I want this general to heal your despondent heart. She will tell you what the true purpose of a healer is." We see in the quest The Red War Cry that Jiaoqiu first met Feixiao when she was on death's door during the Third Abundance War. She fought desperately and brutally to ensure the soldiers and medics got out alive. Back then, he was perplexed as to why soldiers would put their lives on the line over and over again, no matter how many times he healed them. He wondered what the point of him being there was, as his healing seemingly only prolonged their inevitable deaths. But then Feixiao talks about her goal of ending all war.
You healers work yourselves to the bone to save people, even though there will always be sickness and death. So we will also keep fighting. I cannot speak for the dead, but I know that General Yueyu, as well as all the warriors that never returned from battle, will not have died in vain.
I'll touch on this more in Feixiao's video, but Feixiao and Jiaoqiu are alike in that they are very selfless people. Feixiao wants to cure war to ensure nobody dies in the blasts of Lan's arrows, while Jiaoqiu vowed to follow the order given to him by Feixiao and find some means of curing her illness. The general's philosophy and goals opened Jiaoqiu's eyes. She healed his heart and soul, exactly like his teacher said she would. From his treasured patient, Jiaoqiu learned that there is as much value to find in death as there is in life. Just because someone he treated died doesn't invalidate the healing he provided.
Everything I'm doing now, following you so closely, is just for one reason. Witnessing your death with my own 2 eyes. Even your death has value. It will pave the way for a peaceful war dance and a fully cured Feixiao.
Moze also describes in one of his voice lines that Jiaoqiu is as much Feixiao's patient as he is her doctor. To put it in layman's terms, Jiaoqiu is a physical healer and Feixiao is a therapist. And a damn good one at that apparently, like where is she on BetterHelp? We can see just how far he's willing to go to ensure the betterment of Feixiao's condition in the climax of the quest. He poisoned himself with tumble dust before Hulei drank his blood, hoping it would save innocent lives. And that it did. Hulei tore the crimson moon out of his body and died. Feixiao consumed that moon before it affected any Foxians in the area. And while it hasn't changed her condition, her doubts are gone, and the moon could help increase her lifespan down the line. All of that came at the cost of his eyesight, but he doesn't mind one bit, so long as Feixiao has gotten even the tiniest bit better. I believe Jing Yuan gives a very succinct summary of Jiaoqiu's character in his voice line about him.
The way I see it, he was always a healer. It's just that ordinary healers focus on one patient at a time, while he wanted to cure the ailments of all the people on the Xianzhou.
Jiaoqiu has a bleeding heart. It's in his nature to help people whenever possible. There was a time he found his efforts pointless in a cosmos of endless conflict, but through Feixiao, he learned life and death complete each other, and both sides of the coin can hold equal value. Because of that, his healing practices and sacrifices will always be important. It's a really interesting arc I don't typically see healer characters go through, and I'm glad the writers were able to pull it off as well as they did. And hopefully Feixiao will eventually repay his kindness and heal his eyes. Thank you for watching this video. This is one part of a series of analysis videos on the Xianzhou's cast of characters. If you want to see me analyze another character from the Xianzhou, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, like this video to let me know if I did a good job. As a smaller content creator on the platform, engaging with my videos really, truly helps me out. Thank you once again for watching, have a great rest of your day, and until we meet again, take care.